Good evening. I am driving to my very first rehearsal for The Diary of Anne Frank, where I am understudying Anne Frank. Very, very exciting. I'm gonna be finding out today. I don't believe I'm needed at all rehearsals. I think I'm just needed for sure at this one in the middle, and then all of Tech Week. And then other than that, it's up to the understudies to decide how often they feel they need to be there to understand the role and be able to step into it. We did a little kind of dinner, like get together to get our scripts last month. We just have finished with our first rehearsal. The read-through went very, very well. I did confirm that I am not needed at all rehearsals. At our off-book date, for Act 1 at least, is January 2nd. I'm working already on the lines at home, but I'm really gonna have to kick it into high gear because I think I only have like the first 20 pages down out of 60. Little nerve-wracking, very much so, especially because I know that there is one rehearsal that Ava, who plays Anne, will not be at, and it's right before Tech Week, so we will be running the whole thing. So I will have one rehearsal that I run the entire thing. I got an unexpected email on New Year's Eve that they are actually asking understudies to be there for all performances. All rehearsals now. So I had to switch around my work schedule. Thankfully, my work was okay with it. So I wasn't able to make it to yesterday's rehearsal because I was coming home from being out of town and it was just too soon for me to switch my work schedule. But today I was able to switch it, so I work on Friday instead. So I am going to today's rehearsal where we are working on pages 11 through 27. I have pretty much like 98% of Act 1 memorized, with the exception of the Anne's monologue at the tail end of it, but I'm working on that, and I just started working on Act 2. We are a month and 6 days away from opening. There's the theater. Here's the stage door. So I can't vlog a ton during rehearsals because they would prefer for us to not have our phones out. It went well. We did blocking through the beginning through page 24. I am heading out to rehearsal. We should be blocking the rest of Act 1 tonight. So I snuck away from rehearsal for a second. This place is massive. Not the bathroom. I'll show you in a second. Okay, but look at this. So here's a bathroom with showers, right? And lockers. But that's not it. This is the dressing room. One of them. Look at this. Okay, hang on. And of dressing B, which is the same thing. Crazy. And then they have a star dressing. Oh my god. This is so cool. There's a bathroom there. Star dressing B. Green room. That's crazy. And then the stage is down here. I'm getting out a little bit early because they are running through Act 1 one more time. We finished blocking the whole thing, but understudies didn't need to be there because we wrote it all down. We start on Act 2 on Monday, but I guess we aren't actually expected to be off book this week. I thought it was the 2nd. So apparently now we're not needing to be off book for Act 1 until the week after next, and Act 2 the week after that. So like the week before Tech. The director had no idea that I was 22. She thought I was a teenager. I did not realize until tonight that the actress playing Meep is a senior in high school. So I'm also older than she is, and that means she and our Anne are about the same age, which is wild. I'm amazed that I didn't even get asked to read for Meep. Or Marco. Oh my god. Good evening, good evening. I am heading out for another rehearsal, first rehearsal of this week. We are working on Act 2. I am definitely going to be masking at today's rehearsal because I had an exposure to COVID. Granted, it was a good few days ago now, but I just want to be sure. I feel fine, but can never be too careful in my book. As I said, we are working on Act 2. Act 2 is significantly shorter than Act 1. Act 1 is 39 pages, Act 2 is 19. So big difference. We are working on some of the monologues this week though. Not just Anne's monologues, but Mrs. Van Dan has a monologue, and Mr. Franck has a monologue, of course. There's a fire. Oh gosh. So it's happening again. Do you see the things going off? Again. 2 times in like an hour and a half. So anyway, we just ended rehearsal early because this is ridiculous. Okay, I suck. I did not vlog that rehearsal at all, but I got out early, which was really nice because they were going to start doing more of Anne's monologues and also work on Mr. Franck's and Petronella's. And so I was like, hey, and the understudy for Mr. Franck asked the same thing. He was like, do you want us to stay? And I say thankfully just because they were going to go through it really slowly, and so I was going to sit there for a while. And so she was like, no, you guys can wait until they're like actually performing it to kind of take notes and see things like that. So that was really nice. I did get to stand in for Meep today though, for a little bit of her scene, so that was fun. But I am heading home. And I stopped doing daily vlogs and suddenly I just suck at all of the vlogs. Rehearsal went well. It went well. We finally finished blocking pretty much all of Act 2. The only thing that's left is the very, 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 very end with the end of the show, because they're still looking for the last 2 people to play the other 2 Nazis that come into the annex. We have the one, of course, who's also one of the understudies, but they didn't want to block it without the 3 people, because that's very difficult. But yeah, other than that, the whole show is blocked. Look, I have somehow lost my mind. Okay, I've lost my mind. And I, for some reason, thought I was working until 6:30 for work. No, I wasn't. That's when rehearsal starts. How the heck did I do that? Not to mention that I just drove by a parking spot that was literally open, and I went to the one directly across from it. Look, I actually remembered to vlog before I go to rehearsal. I'm leaving for rehearsal in like 10 minutes. Things have been really interesting this week. They're doing some photos tonight. Very few promotional photos. And originally there was an email sent out to all of us to be like, hey everyone, get there at 6. We're gonna get into some costumes and do those photos, right? Well, I emailed the director and I was like, okay, great. Like, I know understudies aren't really the focus here, but I'll plan to be there at 6. And she replied and said, well, no rush. Like, we're back to only doing 3 to 4 photos. And so I was like, okay, that's an interesting way to put that. And I was like, I emailed her back and said, should I just wait and get there at 6:30 like normal? She said 6:30 will be fine. So I'm going to be honest here. I am struggling a lot with this show. Not in any of the ways I expected to be. I thought I would be having a really hard time with the lines or the blocking because there is so much to memorize. That is not at all. I'm actually feeling fairly confident with that. Now we're really going to see, because we're starting to go over Act 1 today, and we haven't done that in about a week and a half. So we'll see how I actually am on that blocking and on the lines. Things are moving very slowly. Not too slowly in the fact of like they're concerned they're not going to be ready for opening, but slow in the way that is just can be really frustrating. And what's also really frustrating is that at this time still understudies are asked to be there for every rehearsal. However, pretty much the entirety of the show is blocked. And I knew for a fact, right, that I'm sitting off to the side watching it all, taking it all in. That's not the issue at all. The issue is that things changed from, understudies are there or needed for a handful of rehearsals, and then however much more you feel you need to be there to be prepared. The problem is I feel prepared. After this week, once I've gone over, like we rehashed Act 2 on Monday, and so once we go over this after this week, I will feel confident that I could wait until Tech Week and be there the entirety of Tech Week. That's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday evening, and feel confident that if I needed to step on stage for a show. It's just a little frustrating to me, because had I known that could potentially change to be that. I don't know if I would have accepted the position just because I had just gotten done having to change my schedule around so much for work with Elf, and I was like, oh, this is good. I don't have to change my schedule around with this show because da-da-da-da-da, and then that ended up not happening. There's a lot going on behind the scenes for things I want to write this year, for things I'm working on. I just finished judging a film festival. There's another film festival happening in May that I need to really kick into high gear to start judging those films. I could use this time to be working on those things when I already feel prepared for the show. But I also don't want to affect any potential future standing of me with the theater and somehow show that I'm not dedicated. Yet at Monday's rehearsal, our stage manager was literally like, I'm impressed by how much you know of the show. Instead of with Elf, where I felt so rejuvenated every time I went to rehearsal and I was so joyful and so excited, instead, I find myself sometimes kind of dreading going to rehearsal. And I hate that because I love this show so much, but there's just so many aspects of it that are really frustrating. This time, we are back in a room in the main center, so not at the stage for whatever reason. And I don't really know where this room is. Back to the theater we go.
Yes, I'm Terry.
Y'all, oh my god. Okay, so I stood in at rehearsal today for Mrs. Von Dawn, who was not there. It was interesting. I mean, it was fine, but as I'm walking out of the theater with the actor who plays Mr. Frank, and we were walking out, and he goes, he goes, "Are you old enough to drive?" And I said, "Oh yes, I am very much old enough to drive." And he goes, "How old are you?" And I said, 22. And he goes, "Oh," he goes, "I was lumping you in with the high schoolers." I guess I do. I said, "Wow." I said, do I really look like I would not be old enough to drive?" And he was like, "Well, yeah, a little bit." And I said, "Then that means I can play younger." I take that as a compliment. So it's the next week. This week's actually going to be a little interesting. So this is the second to last week before Tech Week. I am actually rehearsing at home this week, so I will not be physically at rehearsal. I'm running the show here at home. I already did it today. Just keep making sure that my knowledge is up to date. But I know the show really well, and so I got approval to do it from home this week. I will be back at rehearsal next week for Monday, Wednesday, and then Thursday is the day that our lead will not be there, and so I will fill in for her. So I figured that's good for me to watch the show again Monday and Wednesday, see anything that was changed and implement it, and then jump in on Thursday. So it's actually Tuesday, but I forgot to record this. What the heck? Sorry, I don't know what my phone's doing. Forgot to record this last night. So I was at home working and I got an email from our director being like, "Hey, did you happen to forget your script at rehearsal? Like, I found one and I think it might be yours." So I went to the car to look, and sure enough, it's not there. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. So I finished work a few minutes early and headed over there and picked it back up. She was like, "Yeah, I wondered how you were gonna practice at home without it." And I was like, well, I have it memorized, so I can practice the blocking and stuff without the script. In fact, I'm not trying to hold the script. She did tell me something interesting though, which is that when I do that run through on Thursday, not this coming Thursday, but next Thursday, I can hold my script if I want to, which makes sense because she's like, it's more important for the other actors to, you know, not have someone potentially stumbling over lines. And I was like, I get that, but I also need to do my job as an understudy and make sure that I know it without it, because that's my job. So I'm heading to rehearsal on time this time, but I will say I'm kind of at the point, I just kind of feel like I'm drowning a little bit. There's a lot, goodness, how many times have I said that during this video, that there's a lot happening. We know that there's a lot happening, but it's just more just got put on my plate. Hello there, happy Wednesday. It is my last rehearsal before I run the show for the first and very much likely only time. We are not on stage today. It seems, I think this is our last rehearsal not on stage. We are in the e-classrooms again. My plan is to go out into the hallway and be running the show, just so that way I am not distracting any of the actors if they happen to like look up and see me in the corner running the show. Alrighty, rehearsal went well. It is time for me to get home and clear as much off of my phone as humanly possible. I also got scared that they wouldn't, like, since I have to set the phone kind of far away, that you're not going to be able to hear me. So I love Amazon. I just ordered a lav mic, like a small one, which I've been meaning to get one for a little while. This is just the perfect excuse. I ordered one to be delivered overnight. Tonight is the night. Tonight is the night. I am filling in for Ava. I have my tripods, I have my cameras, everything is charged. I'm not gonna film on here a lot because I need to save space and I need to save battery, but it is here, it is tonight. I'm ready, I'm as ready as I'll ever be. I did it! And I didn't have to call for a line once. I didn't have to call it at all. I didn't mess up any of the monologues. I fumbled like 3 of the other lines, but not enough to where it was like, oh, I didn't know what I was saying. I just missed one or you know, just kind of jumped ahead or whatever. But I did it. I did it. And our director was even like, that was remarkable. I don't think anyone could have gotten up and done what you did tonight. And she was like, it wasn't just the lines, you had the expressions, you had the acting, you had the blocking, you had all of it. And she was like, I am so impressed and I am so proud of you. And the cast was like, oh my God, like, you showed us up. And one of them who was like, that work ethic is gonna take you far. And I was like, well, thank you. So, I will say though, it was definitely a little strange. We did not have our Meep because she was also at the event FestCon. We didn't have Peter, unfortunately, so I was really bummed because I didn't get to do either of those scenes, the 2 main ones with him, which I was really bummed about, but that's okay. I got to do all the others and they were like the scream for the nightmare. They were like, I was terrified. Oh my God. I'm so happy because I totally achieved what I wanted to achieve, which was to go in there and give it absolutely everything I had and show everyone there, not that they were doubting, but show everyone there, I know what I'm doing. I know this show. I can step in at any moment. So I am thrilled. I'm so excited. It is technically load-in day at the theater, but I am working at home, so I can't be there. I just needed to share something that I just saw. Everything's gonna be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Our lead was at ThesCon this weekend. I saw on her Instagram today, she wrote salt water, tea, and vitamin C. And now I'm panicking a little bit. I'm panicking just a little bit. All right, it is first day of Tech Week officially. It's 4:51. I am working away at home, but I am planning to head out of the house as soon as I possibly can at or before 6, but work doesn't need to know that, because I want to get a slice of pizza from the pizza shop. So I've never been out in the actual theater before. Hang on. So like, look at this. There's up to the balcony. Look at this. It's beautiful. That's where I'll go in a second. This is really cool. I don't know where the doors to get in are, I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot has happened. A lot has happened. And now I've kind of processed it so I can tell you about it. It was clear tonight that our lead was not feeling well. It was a Q to Q tonight, so they did not run the whole show. When I went up to our director after rehearsal to just be like, hey, I don't know how you're feeling about the situation, but if something happens, would you guys text me during the day? Like, just so I know before rehearsal, kind of how would that go? Expecting her, because of just, you know, what I've kind of gotten to know of her, I was expecting her to be like, I doubt it'll happen. I'm sure she's going to be fine. Just don't worry about it. That was not what happened. She turned to me, and before I could even get a word out, she said, I need you to be ready to potentially go on for a preview on Thursday. What? No. That's not the plan. The plan is I did the rehearsal, and that's the only thing I get. That's it. Ava has all the shows. That's the thing. That's the plan. That's what I had in my head. What do you mean potentially go on Thursday? I literally was shaking as soon as she started to say that. I am a wreck. I am a complete wreck because this was not the plan. Of course, would it be exciting to go on? Yes. Is it what yes, it would be exciting to go on, but is it what I want? No, because that's not my job. My job is to just know the role, but to not actually have to go on. I am terrified. I just finished work. I'm heading to rehearsal, trying to get there as fast as humanly possible. I don't think I've said this today. I am filling in most likely pretty much for rehearsal tonight. She's gonna do potentially like some of her changes, and I think she's gonna do intermission. But other than that, it's me. So I'm doing all the lines and everything like that and all the blocking. We just have to take it day by day, which makes perfect sense, but is absolutely terrifying because I don't know what's gonna happen. I at least am really grateful I get this second chance to run it, and I get to run it with the set and the sound cues. And understudies, at least in my opinion, you never expect to go on. It's a different story if you're an understudy on Broadway and you're like, yeah, during this months long run, I will probably go on at one point. Or you're a swing, you're like, I might go on at one point. But for a community theater show, I am mic'd and running the show. Well, that went very well. I got let go a little early because they did notes for the young adults or the young people first, so the kids could get home. And thankfully, I play a kid and I am a young adult, so I was included in that. I am thrilled and honored that I got to run the show again. And then I got to run it in front of the whole crew, like literal crew. Like that means a lot to me because a lot of those people work at the theater. So hopefully that has left a good impression on them for if I am to audition for future shows. Okay, I am heading to rehearsal, and once again, I am behind someone. What are you doing? I have no idea what's happening tonight. I have not heard anything the whole day. I do not know if I'm filling in. I'm hoping I'm not. I'm hoping her voice is better and she's all good to go. The craziness has come to an end. What we did tonight is both Ava and I were mic'd. Ava did the show, but I did her monologues to help save her voice a little bit. So I would just pop on stage for those monologues and just then pop back off, which was perfect actually. Hello and happy preview. It is currently 5:56. I am heading back from the exciting meeting that I had down in Atlanta. And that went well. I'm stopping and getting myself something to eat. And then I'm stopping at CVS because I want to work on thank you notes tonight to give them out tomorrow. Food is acquired. I had a jacket in my car, which is nice because it's a little chilly in the theater. I'm gonna triple check that it's okay for me to leave basically at intermission once I know Ava's good. And I'm gonna do that today and tomorrow. So I almost forgot to vlog, but this is where I was hanging out right here. I had the TV on and I wrote my little cards. This is technically star dressing B, but no one's in here and the door was open, so I totally forgot to vlog. Sorry. It is opening night. I just am leaving the theater at intermission because all is going well. So this is very likely the last time that I will be here for this show. Before I forget, let's go through these opening gifts. So last night, we all got a mug from our director, and it is Diary of Anne Frank, and then the back of it has her quote, which is, "Yet I still believe in spite of everything, people are truly good at heart." You may notice this additional necklace right here. That was given to me by our actor who plays Mr. Crawler. It is beautiful. It's wrapped around my other necklace right now, which I obviously would not normally wear it with. It is absolutely beautiful. And then a very sweet card from the theater. We actually got another mug. This one also has the cover, but it has the names of the creative and the crew and then all of us. So my name is right there, kind of at the bottom. This very well might be the end of this vlog, which has been very long, I know, but I didn't want to split it up. Because I don't think I will be called in for the rest of the shows. So this experience has definitely taught me a lot. I ended up finding out that our director was actually not allowed to ask understudies to be there at every rehearsal. So that was a little frustrating to find out, but it definitely, I think, was for a reason. I think I thankfully left a good impression on the theater and the people who consistently work on shows at the theater. So hopefully the next time I go to audition, they will remember me. It has been an honor to, be the understudy for Anne, but that's it. I don't know when I'll see you next. I'm not gonna lie. I have no idea. I don't know what's next. Well, I know I'll be filming a short film for someone in March. So that'll probably be it. I will probably vlog that, and it will be a much shorter vlog, but that's probably the next time you'll see me. So until next time.